Sometimes, when she was a very old woman, my great-grandma, Nana, would grow pensive, furrowing her brow and saying in the Scottish brogue that she still had, "Nobody knows, nobody knows." It was like she had a lifetime of pent-up sorrows, secrets that were too shameful or painful to share. Propriety had kept those secrets stifled within her soul all those years, but I think that deep down, that nobody knows was Nana yearning to share her story, pain, joy, and all. So here it is, at least what we've been able to piece together of it, because really, we never will truly know. Mary Stevenson McGarrity, known also as Mamie, Towser, and of course Nana, was born in 1901 in a town called Blantyre, east of Glasgow, Scotland. Her father worked in the coal mines and steelworks in Lanarkshire. Her mother gave birth to 16 children, though only 9 of them lived. Mamie was the third oldest. The family was very poor and lived in a small house. To make do, they put extra beds in the kitchen behind a curtain. Mamie was a happy little girl, always laughing. Her brothers called her Towser because her hair was always tousled and messy. Mamie helped her mother with the cleaning and helped care for all of her younger siblings. She loved babies. So, when her mother gave birth to stillborn twins and couldn't get up from her bed, it was 13-year-old Mamie who prepared the babies' bodies for burial. That was also the same year that, at age 13, Mamie had to quit school to begin working as a scullery maid to bring in extra income for the family. She went to live and work on a farm near Edinburgh. We don't know much about Mamie's life during those next few years, but when she was 20 years old, something happened that changed everything. She got pregnant. We don't know who the father of Mamie's baby was, but there are a few theories. One, it could have been someone in the family she worked for. Nana told about how the young man of the house wanted to marry her, but his mother thought she was too young and didn't know how to iron properly. 2, it could have been a stranger. Nana once told about a man who she met on a train who talked her into getting off the train at a park. The implication is that he raped her. 3, it could have been someone she was dating. There are stories about a young man who asked Mamie's father if he could marry her, and her father refused. Whatever the truth is, this incident must have been so painful for Mamie. And on top of that trauma, she would have faced intense societal shame during that era for having a baby out of wedlock. So after giving birth in 1922 to a baby girl called May, she gave the baby to her mother to raise. And from then on, the family pretended that May was Mamie's sister, not her daughter. At this point, Mamie was probably looking for some kind of escape, or maybe shame forced her exit. In any case, she decided to leave Scotland. She boarded a ship to Winnipeg, Canada, all by herself. On the ship, Mamie made friends with 2 girls, Maisie and Chrissy McLeod. She lived with them in Winnipeg for a little while, and when they decided to move to Detroit, she went along. Eventually, the rest of the McGarritys all followed Mamie, leaving Scotland and moving to Detroit in 1924. May was with them. Mamie worked at a bakery in Detroit, and through the bakery, she met her future husband, Roderick MacDonald, who had also immigrated from Scotland. Mamie and Roderick got married and had 5 children. For most of Mamie's life, she kept her true relationship to May a secret, and none of her 5 children knew that they had a half-sister. They knew May, but they were never very close to her. There was only one time when Mamie slipped up and dropped a clue about who May really was. When May was about 50 years old, she got cancer. She was very sick and was staying in the hospital. Mamie and her oldest daughter, Beth, went to visit May, and the nurse asked Mamie, "Are you a relative of May's?" Mamie told them, "I'm her mother." But Mamie's mother had already been to the hospital to visit May, and had of course said that she was May's mother, so the nurses didn't believe Mamie and refused to let her in to visit May. Mamie was understandably very upset and left the hospital in tears. not long after that, May died. When Nana was older, after her husband had died, she began to refer to what had happened to her when she was 20, in vague and mixed up ways. Then, Beth, the oldest of the 5 children, remembered how Nana had told the hospital that she was May's mother. Gradually, Nana's children started to piece together that May was not their aunt, but their sister. Nana died in 1995, before I was old enough to know or make sense of any of this. But in that sad, weird way that life works, I understand now that my entire existence depends on that single painful event that altered the course of Nana's life. If May hadn't been born, Nana wouldn't have left Scotland. And if she hadn't left Scotland, my grandma, my mom, and I would not have been born. So we owe it to Nana to finally tell her story, and to hold her troubles as our own. I think about all the emotions she must have carried all those years. Trauma from whatever incident made her pregnant at age 20, the intense societal shame of giving birth as a single woman, the terrible sorrow of being forced to give that child away, the courage of starting a new life all by herself in a new country, the joy of finding love and having a family, but also the longing for her estranged daughter. And throughout all, some voice, whether from within or without, that kept her silent all those years, carrying her secret alone. All she could say to us was, "Nobody knows."